The waitstaff at Bella Rosa huddle near the entrance of the private dining room, whispering. Their eyes dart toward me, then away. I pretend not to notice as I smooth the fabric of my wrapped dress and check my phone for the 100th time. 6 empty place settings mock me from the white tablecloth. Each setting perfect, untouched. Wine glasses catching the amber glow of the wall sconces. The room feels too big for just one person. Can I get you something while you wait? The waiter's voice carries that particular tone reserved for people dining alone, gentle, almost apologetic. A glass of the house red, please. My voice stays steady. Professional. The same voice I use in quarterly budget meetings when delivering bad news to the board. The texts I sent last week sit in my phone, each one read but unanswered. Remember, birthday dinner at Bella Rosa, 7 p.m. sharp. Private room reserved. Don't forget, dinner tonight. Can't wait to see everyone. Heading to the restaurant now. See you soon. The wine arrives. I take a small sip, letting the warmth spread through my chest. The clock on my phone shows 8:07 p.m. A notification pops up. Rachel, my college roommate who moved to Seattle years ago, has tagged me in a comment. My thumb hovers over it for a moment before I tap. The photo loads, my stomach drops. Travis's backyard. My brother's signature grin as he mans the grill, spatula raised like a trophy. Mom and her favorite lawn chair head thrown back in laughter. The cousins clustered around the patio table. Smoke rising from the barbecue into the evening sky. Posted 20 minutes ago. Caption. Spontaneous family BBQ with our favorite guy Travis, deserves a little fun. The comments scroll past in a blur until I see it. Someone asking, where's Dana? Travis's reply appears below. She had other plans. The wine turns sour in my mouth. I set the glass down with careful precision, my fingers trembling slightly. The bank app on my phone opens with my fingerprint. The list of recurring payments stares back at me. Sunrise Assisted Living, minus $620 monthly. Auto Lease Direct, minus $235 monthly. Mountain View Utilities, minus $189.47 monthly. Each one a thread in the web, holding my family together. Each one carefully budgeted for my senior financial coordinator's salary, while I live in a modest apartment on the unfashionable side of town. Last month's American Express statement shows the Christmas presents I'm still paying off. Spring break trip I funded for Travis's kids. The emergency dental work for mom that insurance wouldn't cover. My phone buzzes. Another comment on the photo. Looking good, Morrison family. A memory surfaces sharp, unwanted. Last year's birthday card from mom, her looping handwriting. You always know what matters most. At the time, I thought it was a compliment. The waiter approaches again, uncertainty in his step. Ma'am? Will your party still be new? I reach for my purse, extract 2 20s. No. I place the bills on the table. They won't be coming. I'm so sorry. He means it. Can I wrap up something for you to take home? No, thank you. I stand, shoulders back, spine straight. The room was lovely. I appreciate your service. The walk to my car feels longer than usual. Each click of my heels on pavement marks another moment I won't get back. Another dinner I planned, another celebration stolen by Travis's spontaneity, another reminder that I matter most when writing checks. I drive past the familiar turns toward Travis's house, past mom's assisted living facility, with its manicured lawns that my monthly payments maintain, past the duplex where my former sister-in-law raises my niece with the utilities I keep running. The apartment complex looks different tonight. Smaller. Or maybe I'm seeing it clearly for the first time and not as a temporary stopping place while I support everyone else, but as a testament to everything I've given up. I drove home, disappointed in myself. In the apartment, I removed my jewelry piece by piece. The earrings I bought for special occasions that never seemed to include me. The bracelet that cost less than 1 month of Travis's car payment. The dress I wore to impress family who couldn't be bothered to show up. Each item finds its place in my jewelry box. Each movement precise, controlled. The time for tears will come later, but not now. Not yet. My phone lights up again. 3 missed calls from mom. 5 texts from Travis. 7 notifications from the family group chat. I turn the phone face down on my dresser. They'll notice the silence eventually. They always do, when they need something. But tonight, the silence belongs to me. For once, I won't be the one to break it. With this in mind, I sit in front of my laptop and start cleaning, starting from the bank accounts, documents, shared passwords, etc. I think it's time to stop being a provider. The laptop screen bathes my kitchen in cold light at 2 a.m. Bank accounts and spreadsheets fill multiple browser tabs. My fingers rest on the trackpad, not quite touching the cancel recurring payment button for Mom's assisted living facility. A text from 6 months ago glows on my phone. Dana, you're a lifesaver. Don't know what we'd do without you. Mom sent after I covered her dental surgery. The empty restaurant table from tonight flashes through my mind. Place settings untouched. The first click feels like breaking glass. Mom's rent payment canceled. My chest tightens, but my hand stays steady. Travis's car lease payments come next. His grateful voice echoes from Christmas morning. Best sister ever. The kids can't wait to take road trips in this. The same kids who right now sleep in beds bought with my credit card while their father grilled burgers at a party I wasn't welcome to attend. Click. Gone. The utilities for Sarah's placemate, former sister-in-law, raising my niece vanish with another decisive tap. Last Easter, she hugged me tight. You're the only one who's never let us down. The words curdle in my memory. Excel opens with a soft chime. 6 years of carefully tracked support unfold in neat columns. Every emergency covered without question. Every just this once that became permanent. Christmas lists fulfilled, while I wore last year's coat. Their family vacations funded during weeks I worked overtime to afford them. The total at the bottom of the spreadsheet stops my breath. $75,842.16. Numbers don't lie. They don't forget birthdays either, even though my family does. 2 days later, my phone lights up at 8 a.m. I've been staring at the ceiling for hours, since I couldn't sleep at all listening to the neighbor's wind chimes. Honey, did something glitch with the rent this month? Mom's voicemail carries that familiar note of assumed authority. 3 missed calls follow. Travis's text buzzes in. Car company said the lease is unpaid, what's up? Call me as soon as possible. Sarah's message arrives last. Utilities showing past due. Everything okay? The power company called. The morning sun warms my kitchen table. I pour coffee into my favorite Muga gift to myself last Christmas while I shopped for everyone else. The familiar aroma fills my nose as I set my phone face down on the table. The silence wraps around me like a blanket. My Instagram opens to the photo I took 2 nights ago. The untouched birthday cake sits in elegant solitude. 7 unlit candles casting shadows across white frosting. My fingers type the caption slowly. Wild how the person footing everyone's bills never gets his seat at the table. Comments flood in within minutes. Rachel from accounting. Wait, what? They stood you up on your birthday? My college roommate. Dana, you've been paying their bills this whole time? My neighbor Susan. Girl, we need to talk. Coming over with wine tonight. The group chat notifications stack up. I watch them pile higher without opening a single one. The morning stretches peaceful and uninterrupted until my doorbell rings at 11. Aunt Marla stands in the hallway, her silver hair catching the fluorescent light. I brought coffee cake, she says, holding up a familiar blue tin. Think we need to talk. She settles at my kitchen table, cutting neat squares of cake. Her fingers tremble slightly. I didn't know about the dinner, she says finally. Nobody told me. I sip my coffee, let the silence stretch. Did you enjoy Travis's BBQ? The fork freezes halfway to her mouth. The what? The spontaneous family BBQ. At Travis's house. During my birthday dinner. Color drains from her face. That was your birthday? The same birthday I've had for 35 years. My voice stays level. The one I sent reminders about last week. The dinner everyone confirmed they'd attend. Aunt Marla sets her fork down with a soft clink. Oh, Dana. Her eyes fix on the bank statements spread across my table. Understanding dawns as she reads the numbers. How long have you been carrying them? 6 years. Since Dad died. The words come out matter of fact. Travis needed help with the kids. Mom couldn't cover assisted living. Sarah was struggling with utilities. And they all just... Aunt Marla's voice trails off. Forgot my birthday? No. I fold my hands in my lap. They remembered. They chose the BBQ anyway. My phone buzzes again. Travis's name lights up the screen. Aren't you going to answer? Aunt Marla asks. I turn the phone face down. No. The morning sun streams through my window, warming my shoulders. I've done enough answering for a lifetime. Aunt Marla reaches across the table, her hand covering mine. Unlike Mom's grip, hers asks for nothing. What do you need? The question catches me off guard. In 6 years of family dinners, emergency calls, and midnight Venmo requests, no one has asked me that. I need. My voice cracks for the first time since the restaurant. I need them to see me. Not my wallet, not my ability to solve their problems. Just me. Aunt Marla squeezes my hand. Beyond my window, the neighbors' wind chimes sing their gentle song. For once, I let the melody play without rushing to fix anything at all. After the conversation, she went home, and I was making plans on what to do with the family issues. Since I know it won't end here, in that way the days just pass by quickly. Travis's knuckles rap against my door at 2 p.m. on the following Tuesday. 3 quick taps, then silence. The sound ricocheted through my apartment like a warning shot. I stand at my kitchen counter staring at the door. The coffee in my mug has gone cold. Dana? His voice filters through, casual as Sunday morning. You home? My fingers grip the edge of the granite. 1 breath. 2. The sharp corners ground me in reality. Hey! Travis's voice again. Softer now. Practiced. You mad? The lock clicks under my fingers. Travis stands in my hallway, hands stuffed in the pockets of his gray hoodie. The same one he wore to Mom's birthday last month, the celebration I planned, paid for, and photographed. I step back, a wordless invitation. He slouches past me, his presence immediately filling my carefully ordered space. While I close the door, he makes a beeline for my refrigerator. The familiar whine of the hinges, the clink of bottles, a lifetime of assumed permission. Got any of that strawberry yogurt left? He peers inside, bending at the waist. The Greek kind? Second shelf. My voice comes out steady, professional, like I'm directing a board meeting instead of watching my brother raid my fridge. Travis emerges with the yogurt and settles onto my couch, sprawling across the cushions. His sneakers, new, probably bought with the emergency fund I set up for his kids' school supplies, leave dirt marks on my cream throw pillow. Look, he starts, peeling back the yogurt lid. It wasn't a big deal, just a last-minute BBQ. Jerry brought his new smoker over, and you know how Mom loves his brisket. The words wash over me like static. Through my living room window, a cardinal lands on the fire escape, bright red against industrial black metal. The bird tilts its head, studying its reflection, then flies away. Mom's worried sick about the rent. Travis's voice cuts through my thoughts. He leans forward, elbows on knees. The facility manager called her yesterday. Something about a payment glitch? I walk to my desk and open the bottom drawer. The manila folder comes out easily. I've handled it so many times these past days, the edges have softened. Did you know I've paid Mom's rent for 6 years? The bank statements spread across my coffee table like fallen leaves. Plus utilities, plus medications, plus the special chair she wanted for her room. Travis's spoon freezes halfway to his mouth. You knew it was my birthday. My voice doesn't waver. You knew where I was. That wasn't forgetfulness. That was a choice. He flinches. Actually flinches. The spoon clatters against the yogurt container. I have the texts. My finger scrolls through my phone. Here's you that Tuesday. Thanks, sis. Rent money came through. You're a lifesaver. And here's you in the family group chat, 3 hours before my birthday dinner. Everyone head over around 6. Bringing the grill out. Dana, come on. 6 years of car payments. Another statement joins the pile. 4 years of covering utilities for Jessica, so she could afford to stay home with Emma. Christmas presents for everyone. Spring break trips I funded but never attended. Emergency dental work. New tires. Broken water heaters. The yogurt container sits forgotten on my coffee table. Travis's face has lost its practiced ease, replaced by something raw and uncertain. I've been holding this family up for years. The words taste like metal in my mouth. But apparently, I don't matter unless I'm paying for something. So you're just going to punish Mom too? His voice rises, defensive. She had nothing to do with. Nothing to do with it? I grab my phone again. Here's Mom in the group chat, day of my birthday. Travis's BBQ sounds wonderful. I'll bring my potato salad. She knew I was supposed to be. You all did. The silence stretches between us like a rubber band, ready to snap. Look. Travis stands, runs a hand through his hair. I'll fix this, okay? I'll get a better job. Pay you back. We can have another birthday dinner. No. The word comes out soft but final. You can't fix this with words, only actions matter now. What do you want from me? 3 things. I've rehearsed this list in my head for days. First, no more automatic financial support. If you need help, you ask directly and explain why. Second, you acknowledge what happened on my birthday wasn't okay. Not just the BBQ, the years of taking me for granted. Third, you start showing up for me the way I've shown up for you. My time matters, my feelings matter, my presence matters. Travis paces my small living room, a caged animal seeking escape. And if we don't, then you learn to live without my help. I gather the bank statements, sliding them back into their folder. You all made your lives comfortable using violence. I'm just letting the silence speak for once. He stops at my door, hand on the knob. The brother I grew up with suddenly looks smaller, diminished by truth. Dana? His voice cracks slightly. I really screwed up, didn't I? The cardinal returns to my fire escape, pecking at something invisible. This time, it stays. Yes, I say quietly. You did. The door closes behind him with a soft click. In the sudden quiet, I can hear the hum of my refrigerator, the tick of my wall clock, the rustle of papers beneath my hands. The sounds of a life I built while building everyone else's breezes. End of quote. My phone buzzes, the family group chat lighting up with messages. I turn it face down on the coffee table. Some silences need to be heard. I spent the rest of the week without my family, so I had more time to focus on what's more important, me and my life. But this is not the end of trouble. Tuesday next week, my phone vibrates against the kitchen counter. The screen lights up with Mom's incoming caller, 5th this morning. Next to her missed call notification sits an email from Sunrise Assisted Living, subject line, urgent, 10, day notice. I take a sip of coffee, letting the bitter warmth spread through my chest. The morning sun filters through my kitchen window, catching dust motes in its beam. Oliver, my gray tabby, stretches lazily on the windowsill, unbothered by the growing storm of notifications. Another buzz. Travis this time. The car lease company must have contacted him about the missed payment. His text appears above the others. Dana? What the actual hell? The quiet of my apartment wraps around me like a blanket. No panicked family members bursting through the door. No guilt-laden voice messages playing on speaker. Just the soft purr of Oliver and the gentle hum of my refrigerator. My former sister-in-law Jennifer's message arrives next. Utility company called, said service will be disconnected in 48 hours if payment not received. The kids have a science project due. Please, Dana. I set my mug in the sink, watching the last few coffee grounds swirl down the drain. The family group chat explodes with activity. Words like emergency and crisis flash across my screen. Aunt Marla's voice of reason trying to calm the waters. Cousin Sarah suggesting someone talk some sense into Dana. My laptop sits open on the kitchen table. Email inbox filling with payment overdue notices. Each one a small earthquake in the carefully constructed world my family built on my foundation. Each one a crack in their certainty that Dana will fix everything. A new message from Travis appears in the family chat. Emergency meeting at Mom's place tonight at 7. Everyone needs to be there. Aunt Marla responds immediately. Is Dana invited? Travis's reply comes quick. She's made her position clear. I close the group chat and open my work email instead. The quarterly financial reports need reviewing. Client portfolios wait for my attention. Numbers that make sense. Numbers that don't come with emotional baggage. My mother's voicemail notification pops up. I press play, setting the phone on speaker while I type. Honey, I don't understand what I did wrong. Her voice breaks. Whatever it is, we can fix it. Please call me back, the facility manager says. Well, just call me, please. The cousins start texting one by one. First Sarah. Family means standing together. You're being selfish. Then Mike. Remember when Mom and Dad helped your mom after Dad walked out? That's what family does. Finally, Rebecca. You're breaking your mother's heart. Hope you're proud of yourself. I block each number methodically, like sorting papers into their proper files. Travis's Facebook post appears on my feed. Tough times reveal who really cares about family. Prayers appreciated during his family difficulties. The comments roll in. Mutual friends choosing sides. Some expressing shock at my cruelty. Others asking careful questions about what led to this moment. Aunt Marla's comment stands out. There are always two sides to a family story. Sometimes the quietest person has carried the heaviest load. A private message from Jennifer lands in my inbox. Not a demand this time. Not a guilt trip. Just words that took too long to arrive. I never thanked you properly for all you've done. Not just the money, but the way you've been there for the kids. For me. I understand why you needed to stop. I'm sorry we made you feel invisible. My fingers hover over the keyboard. The easy response would be to slip back into the role of fixer, of provider. The words come slowly. Thank you for understanding. I appreciate your apology. I hope you know this isn't about hurting anyone. It's about finally being honest about what hurts. The family group chat notification blinks again. I open it. One last time. The screen fills with their voices talking over each other, planning ways to reason with me, discussing how to handle the situation. My message lands in their chat like a stone in still water. I didn't cut anyone off. I stopped doing things no one ever thanked me for. Before they can respond, I type again. You skipped my birthday. You pretended I didn't exist. I'm just following your lead. The chat falls silent. Individual message requests pop up one by one, each family member trying a different angle, each one discovering that my silence speaks louder than their words. End of conversation. I return to my work and emails. A week passes. Changes ripple through the family like wind through tall grass. Travis posts a job application status. Starting delivery driving next week. Time to stand on my own 2 feet. Mom's carefully worded email arrives. The facility manager and I worked out a payment plan. I should have done this years ago instead of depending on you. Aunt Marla's text comes without pressure or judgment. When you're ready to talk, I'm happy to help the family understand your perspective. No rushing, no pushing. Just offering a bridge if you want one. The demands turn to requests. The accusations fade to apologies. The entitlement cracks like old paint, revealing something new underneath. I watch from my quiet apartment as my family learns to swim without using me as their lifeguard. Oliver curls in my lap, purring against my chest. On my laptop screen, a pending payment reminder for Mom's facility blinks silently. My finger hovers over the Pay Now button. The old impulse to fix everything rises like muscle memory. I close the laptop. Some lessons can only be learned in the deep end. On Wednesday morning, the Starbucks on 16th Street buzzes with its usual morning crowd. Through the window, I watch my family arrive one by one, clustering awkwardly near the entrance. Mom smooths her cardigan. Travis paces. The cousins huddle together, sneaking glances at their phones. Aunt Marla stands apart, her silver hair catching the morning light. My watch shows 9:58 a.m., 2 minutes early. The bell chimes as I push through the door. Conversations halt. Bodies shift. The family parts like water, creating a path to their chosen table. No one quite meets my eyes. Dana. Mom half rises, her hand extended toward mine. I slide into the empty chair beside her, letting her fingers grasp air. Travis clears his throat. Thanks for coming. I nod, setting my purse on the table. The leather makes a soft thud against wood. Around us, other customers type on laptops, chat with friends, live their ordinary lives. My family perches on their chairs like birds ready for flight. I ordered your usual. Mom's voice wavers. Vanilla latte, extra shot. Thank you, but I already had coffee. The words come out gentle, professional, the same tone I use with difficult clients who think they can ignore their payment schedules. Silence stretches, someone's phone buzzes, no one reaches for it. Mom breaks first. We're family. Her fingers twist a paper napkin into rope. Family forgives. I can pay you back. Travis leans forward, elbows on knees. Not all at once, but over time. I've got that new job at. Everyone makes mistakes. Aunt Marla cuts in. Nobody's perfect, Dana. The cousins study their coffee cups. Steam rises in lazy spirals. Outside, a bus rumbles past, its brakes squealing against the morning traffic. I let the silence build. Let them fill it with nervous shifts and half-started sentences. Let them feel the weight of everything unsaid. For years, my voice stays quiet, controlled. I thought family meant sacrificing without recognition. Mom's napkin shreds beneath her fingers. I gave because I loved you. The truth flows now, steady as a heartbeat. Not because I had to. Not because you needed it. Because I wanted to show love the way I knew how. Travis opens his mouth, closes it. But that night at the restaurant, a customer's chair scrapes nearby. When you chose Travis's barbecue over my birthday, that wasn't about money. That wasn't about scheduling conflicts or misunderstandings. The cousins won't look up from their cups. That was a statement, clear as daylight. My presence doesn't matter. My hands rest flat on the table, steady. Only my financial support does. The silence stretches, grows, takes on weight. A tear trails down Mom's cheek. I took you for granted. We all did. Travis's voice cracks. His usual smooth confidence splinters. I've been selfish. God, Dana, I'm so sorry. My former sister-in-law Sarah wipes her eyes. You were the glue, we knew it. We just got comfortable letting you hold everything together. Dana deserves better. Aunt Marla's hand finds my shoulder. From all of us. The morning light streams through the windows, painting shadows across our little gathering. The coffee shop hum continues around us. Espresso machines whirring, customers chatting, life moving forward. I pull a folded paper from my purse, set it on the table. These are my terms for moving forward. They lean in, shoulders tight. No more automatic financial support. My finger taps each point. If you need help, you ask directly. Respectfully, and you acknowledge the help when it comes. Nods around the table. We share holidays, birthday celebrations, family dinners. Not just when it's convenient, not just when Travis decides to fire up his grill. Travis flinches. My birthday matters. The words come out firm. My time matters. My presence matters, not just my wallet. Yes, Mom's voice strengthens. Yes to all of it. And one more thing. I need each pair of eyes. I need you to see me. Not as the responsible one, not as the fixer, not as the bank, just me. Sarah reaches across the table. Her fingers hover near mine. We can do that. We will do that, Aunt Marla corrects. The morning sun warms my back. Outside, the city wakes fully to life. Somewhere in the distance, a siren wails. Inside our coffee shop bubble, my family shifts and settles, adjusting to this new reality. Travis straightens. So what happens now? Now? I gather my purse, stand. Now we see if actions match words. Mom's hand catches my wrist. This time, I let it stay. Will you come to Sunday dinner? Sarah's cooking. I pause. Consider. What time? 6. Sarah smiles, tentative. I'm making that chicken thing you like. I'll bring wine. The words come easily. Not a promise, not an obligation, just a choice. And I get up, leaving them behind. The bell chimes as I push through the door. Behind me, my family's reflection wavers in the glass. They remain seated, watching me go. For once, I walk away knowing they see me. Really see me. The morning air fills my lungs. Fresh, clean, new. Sometimes the hardest boundaries to draw are the ones that should have been there all along. It's been a year since I first realized that, but knowing it and living it have turned out to be two very different things. A year later, a knock at my door breaks the evening quiet. I glance at my phone, 7:04 p.m. No texts, no reminders set, just another Tuesday in April. The knock comes again, softer this time. Oliver, my gray tabby, lifts his head from the windowsill and blinks at me with mild interest. I open the door to find my entire family crowded in the hallway of my apartment building. Mom clutches a small cake box from Giovanni's bakery. Travis holds what looks like handmade cards. Aunt Marla stands slightly behind them, a knowing smile on her face. Happy birthday, Dana, Mom's voice wavers. No one moves to hug me, not yet. They wait, watching my face with careful attention I'd never seen before last year. I step back, holding the door wider. Come in. They file into my living room, the same room where I'd stripped off my wrap dress last year, where I'd turned my phone face down and let silence become my shield. Now they settle onto my couch and armchair, leaving the spot closest to the window, favorite empty for me. Travis sets a chocolate cupcake on my coffee table. A single candle flickers in its center. Made it myself, he says, rubbing the back of his neck. Kelly helped with the frosting, but I did most of it. You baked? The question slips out before I can stop it. YouTube tutorials. He shrugs, but pride edges into his voice. Turns out, following instructions isn't that hard when you actually try. Mom places her cake box next to Travis's cupcake. We know it's not Bella Rosa, she says, but we thought maybe something smaller might mean more. The memory of last year's empty private dining room flashes through my mind. 7 place settings. Nobody came. But the people who didn't show up then sit in my living room now, watching me with eyes that carry the weight of 12 months' worth of learning. Open this one first. Aunt Marla hands me an envelope. Inside, I find a letter in Mom's familiar handwriting. My fingers trace the edges of the paper, remembering last year's birthday card. You always know what matters most. This letter begins differently. I see you now. Travis clears his throat. Got something else for you, too. He pulls out his wallet, removes a folded paper. My last car payment. He smooths it flat on the coffee table. Bought it myself. Used, but it runs. No more lease payments needed. Travis. Not asking for praise, he cuts in. Just wanted you to know. I'm handling my own stuff now. Mom touches my hand. The assisted living facility gave me a part-time job in their office. Just 3 days a week, but it helps with the rent. I should have done it years ago instead of... She stops, swallows. Instead of taking you for granted. A thick photo album appears in my lap. I take it from the shelf in my living room. The cover reads, "The Year We Grew Up." Inside, pictures tell the story of 12 months I hadn't witnessed directly. Travis in his delivery uniform. Mom at her desk in the facility's office. My former sister-in-law Sarah's monthly updates about my niece, each one addressed to Aunt Dana with increasing warmth. Thank you for teaching us all dignity, Aunt Marla says quietly. The words hang in the air between us, heavy with truth. I turn another page in the album. A photo of the empty table at Bella Rosa stares back at me. Someone must have taken it that night. Beside it, a more recent picture. All of us at Aunt Marla's dinner table last month, plates of pot roast and green beans scattered between us. Everyone had brought something. Everyone had helped clean up. My fingers brush the edge of the Bella Rosa photo. The ache is still there, but duller now, like a bruise nearly healed. We'd like to take you to dinner, Mom says. If you want, everyone pitched in. We made reservations at that new Italian place on Pearl Street. I study their faces, nervous, hopeful, but not demanding. No one reaches for their phone. No one makes excuses about other plans. They wait for my answer with the patience of people who have learned that time belongs to everyone equally. Yes, I say, I'd like that. We gather our coats. Travis holds the door. Mom links her arm through mine as we walk to the elevator, a gesture that would have felt manipulative a year ago but now carries only warmth. And we went together to celebrate my birthday. At the restaurant, the waiter brings separate checks without being asked. Small thing, but it matters. No one expects me to reach for my wallet first. The conversation flows easily, punctuated by genuine laughter. Stories of Travis's first attempts at baking, Mom's adventures, learning the facility's filing system, my niece's latest soccer game, which I attended last weekend. To Dana, Aunt Marla raises her wine glass. Who showed us that love isn't measured in dollar signs? The toast ripples around the table. In their eyes, I see what I've wanted all along. Recognition not of what I give, but of who I am. A year ago, I sat alone in a private dining room, writing the final check on a life built around others' needs. Tonight, I sit with my family in a crowded restaurant, writing the first chapter of something new, something real. The waiter brings my dessert tiramisu with a single candle. As I lean forward to blow it out, I catch a glimpse of my reflection in the window. The woman looking back at me isn't just the one who writes the checks or fixes the problems. She's simply Dana. And finally, that's enough. The courier materialized at my desk like a ghost in a brown uniform, thrusting his electronic signature pad toward me. Camille Morgan? My pen hovered over the glowing screen. Something cold slithered down my spine, a warning signal I'd learned to trust after years of analyzing investment risks. But what risk could a simple envelope pose? I scrawled my signature, and he handed over a crisp manila envelope bearing the return address of Peterson and Walsh, attorneys at law. Everything okay, Camille? My colleague Steve peered over his monitor, brows furrowed. Fine, I murmured, turning the envelope in my hands. The paper felt expensive, heavy with unspoken threats. The first line of black text punched the air from my lungs. Petition for conservatorship. My fingers went numb. The words blurred, then snapped into devastating focus. Mental instability, financially reckless behavior, immediate intervention required. The date on the petition was yesterday. The petitioners were listed as Susan Morgan and Daniel Morgan, my own parents. Coffee churned in my stomach. I pushed back from my desk, the wheels of my chair squeaking against marble flooring. Excuse me, I whispered to no one in particular and went to the bathroom. The bathroom door clicked shut behind me, its echo bouncing off pristine tiles. I gripped the marble counter, staring at my reflection. Same navy blazer I'd worn 100 times. Same neat bun. Same composed expression I'd perfected through countless client meetings. 7 days. That's all it had taken them to do this. Last Sunday's dinner flashed through my mind. Mother's dining room, with its gleaming silverware and pressed linens. The neighbors dropped by unexpectedly, as they always did when Blake was pitching his latest scheme. The practiced smiles, the choreographed small talk. The Morgans, Mrs. Henderson had gushed. Such a lovely, close-knit family. If she'd looked closer, she might have noticed Mother's fingers drumming against her wineglass. The way Father studied his coffee cup as if it held tomorrow's stock prices. The sharp angles of Blake's smile as he lounged in his usual spot, one foot propped on the antique ottoman Mother, usually guarded like a sentinel. It's revolutionary, Blake had announced over dessert, his voice carrying that familiar manic energy. An entrepreneur platform that connects visionary startups with. With what? The words had slipped out before I could stop them. With other people's money? Mother's spoon had clinked against her crystal dessert bowl. Camille. But something had shifted inside me, a lifetime of careful compliance crumbling like the untouched tiramisu before me. How much this time, Blake? He'd blinked, that practiced innocence I'd watched him perfect since childhood. Just 18,000, seed money really, a drop in the bucket for someone like you, sis. No. The word had fallen between us like a stone in still water. Mother's teacup froze halfway to her lips. Father's newspaper crinkled as his hands tightened. No? Blake's voice climbed an octave. What do you mean, no? I mean no, not this time, not ever again. Mother set down her cup, the porcelain meeting its saucer with deliberate precision. Camille, dear, after everything we've done for you. Everything you've done? The laugh that burst from me sounded foreign, almost wild. Let's talk about what you've done. Connect Circle. $8,000. Mind Thrive. 10,000. Legacy Lane. Another 18,000. All my money. Funding Blake's ventures. Remember when you took 8,000 from my college fund without asking? For Blake's emergency. You think you're better than family now? Blake's face had flushed red. Little Miss Perfect with her fancy job and her downtown apartment? I'd stood then, my chair scraping against Mother's precious hardwood floors. I think I'm done. If you walk out that door, Mother's voice had carried that special venom she reserved for her greatest manipulations. You'll regret it. Now, staring at my reflection in the office bathroom, I understood exactly what she'd meant. The conservatorship papers trembled in my hands. They'd cited my unstable behavior and financially reckless decisions, including, of all things, the purchase of my living room couch. $2,800 of carefully saved money, spent on something beautiful just for me. The first tear slid down my cheek, dropping onto the legal papers. I watched it spread across the word unstable, warping the letters. My mother's voice echoed in my head. You'll regret it. A bitter smile tugged at my lips as I wiped away the tear. No, Mother, you will. Because they didn't just want my money anymore. They wanted everything. My bank accounts, my job, my apartment, my right to make my own decisions. My entire life, wrapped up in legal papers and tied with government ribbons. In the mirror, my reflection straightened her spine. The woman staring back at me looked nothing like the good daughter who'd spent 30 years trying to earn her family's love with cash and compliance. She looked like someone ready to fight. That same night at my home, my living room window framed Chicago's evening skyline, each twinkling light a star I'd wished on as a child. The conservatorship papers sprawled across my coffee table, black text stark against crisp white. 3 hours of internet research had turned my stomach to lead. Complete control of finances, authority over medical decisions, power to determine residence. The words blurred before my eyes. They could sell my apartment, close my bank accounts, even decide where I worked. My fingers traced the edge of my couch, the beautiful charcoal sectional I'd saved 6 months to buy. According to their petition, this purchase proved my financial instability. Grandmother's voice whispered from memory. Watch how Susan treats her sister Eleanor. The words carried new weight now, heavy with warning I'd been too young to understand. My mother hadn't just pushed her sister away, she'd erased her. My laptop screen glowed with tabs of legal articles, but my mind wandered back through years of calculated exploitation, each memory rising like bile in my throat. Age 13. Standing in the driveway, birthday card from Aunt Margaret still warm in my hands. Inside, $40 enough for the silver bracelet I'd circled in every catalog for months. Blake needs money for robotics camp, Mother had said, palm extended. You want your brother to have opportunities, don't you? Age 17. Tracy Martinez's desperate calls about prom dress shopping. Blake's SAT scores weren't what we hoped. Mother's voice dripped honey, sweet poison. The tutor costs more than we expected. You understand, don't you, sweetheart? College acceptance letter clutched in trembling hands, the savings account showing $8,000 vanished overnight. Your brother had an emergency, Father mumbled, eyes fixed on his newspaper. Family helps family. I grabbed my old storage box from the hall closet, its cardboard edges soft with age. Inside, a stack of bank statements told the story in merciless detail. Connect Circle, $8,000. Blake's social media platform for conscious entrepreneurs. Lasted 3 months before the domain expired. MindThrive, $10,000. His meditation app that never made it past the planning stage. Legacy Lane, $18,000. The revolutionary blockchain solution that turned out to be a glorified pyramid scheme. Mother's face floated before me, perfectly arranged features masked in perpetual concern, every manipulation crafted with surgical precision. And Father, forever hiding behind his coffee cup, signing whatever paper she placed before him. The Christmas card caught my eye, tucked in the box's corner. Aunt Eleanor's elegant handwriting, address, and phone number are preserved like a time capsule. My throat tightened as I dialed, each number a small rebellion. 3 rings. 4. Then. Eleanor Winters. Aunt Eleanor? This is Camille Morgan. My voice cracked on our shared last name. Silence stretched between us, thin as tissue paper. Then, soft and wondering, you sound just like your grandmother. I need help. The words tumbled out, years of careful control crumbling. They're trying to take everything. Mother and Father filed for conservatorship, claiming I'm mentally unstable because I wouldn't give Blake more money, and I don't know what to do, and... Slow down, sweetheart. Her voice carried steel beneath its gentleness. I'm an attorney, elder law specialist, actually. Tell me everything. The story spilled out in raw, messy chunks. With each detail, her breathing grew more controlled, more purposeful. I was erased from the family too, she said finally. Susan didn't want anyone questioning her authority, especially not a sister who saw through her games. How bad is this? I whispered. The conservatorship? Bad. Papers rustled on her end. They could control your bank accounts, your job, where you live. They're already laying groundwork. I'm guessing Susan's calling your workplace, expressing concerns about your mental state? My hand flew to my mouth. Karen from HR had mentioned a worried call from your mother just that morning. Your friend's getting strange calls too? Tracy's voicemail flashed through my mind. Your mom called. She's really worried about you. Are you okay? I know someone, Eleanor said. Martha Reynolds, specialized attorney who handles cases like this. We should meet. Tomorrow, if possible. The next day, after the work was done, I sat in Martha's office, walls lined with law degrees and case citations. Her eyes sparked as she reviewed the documents. "This is one of the most blatant abuse attempts I've seen." She tapped her pen against the petition. "Financial exploitation masquerading as concern. We'll file a motion to delay the hearing, gather evidence of their pattern of behavior." Relief loosened my shoulders, but Eleanor's frown stopped it cold. "There's something about the timing that doesn't add up." She pulled an old photo from her briefcase, mother and father on their wedding day. "Camille, have you ever seen your original birth certificate?" The question hit like a slap. "Only the copy mother keeps in the family files." "Why?" Eleanor's eyes met Martha's. Something unspoken passed between them. "Because," Eleanor said carefully, "I think we've just scratched the surface of Susan Morgan's lies. We talked about our future arrangements, and I went home to try to find more evidence for their lies. But I could not shake off the strange feeling of their look, and probably a web of lies." The following morning, the voicemail light on my office phone blinks red, a digital heartbeat of dread. 3 messages since lunch. Each one is from my father, his voice stretched thin with artificial concern. "Sweetheart, we just want to help. Call us." Delete. "Your mother is beside herself with worry." Delete. "Blake says you haven't been yourself lately." My finger hovers over the delete button, but I save this one. Evidence. The word tastes bitter, like medicine. How strange to gather proof against the people who taught me to walk, to read, to trust. My computer screen glows with an email from HR. Subject line, "Wellness check request, confidential. Mother's handiwork." The careful insertion of doubt into my professional world, like poison in a cup of tea. "Your dedication to maintaining normalcy is admirable," writes Susan Morgan, concerned parent, but perhaps masking deeper issues. I print the email, add it to the growing folder on my desk, labeled with today's date. Inside, screenshots of Blake's social media posts about his troubled sister, time-stamped voicemails from mother about my concerning behavior, bank records showing years of one-sided financial support. My phone buzzes. A text from Rachel, my college roommate. "Blake stopped by the cafe, said you're going through something, call me." The walls of my office shrink. I grab my keys, my coat, the evidence folder. The elevator feels too small, too slow. In the parking garage, I lean against my car, gulping autumn air that tastes like metal. "Camille?" Eleanor stands beside her silver Volvo, briefcase in hand. My aunt's presence steadies me, a lighthouse in the storm. "They're moving faster than we expected," she says, studying my face. "Let's go see Martha." Martha Reynolds' law office smells like leather and lemon polish. The conference room table gleams, reflecting our faces as we spread out the evidence. Martha's fingers move over documents with mechanical precision, her red reading glasses perched on her nose. "They're creating a paper trail," she says. "Every call, every post, every concerned inquiry builds their narrative of instability." She taps my bank statement. "But this tells a different story, 10 years of systematic financial pressure." Eleanor's jaw tightens. "The emergency hearing is tomorrow. Susan's pushing to expedite everything." "Good." Martha's smile reminds me of a shark. "Let them rush. Desperation makes people sloppy." The next morning, courtroom B looms like a church. Dark wood panels, high ceiling, the same judge who approved 3 of Blake's bankruptcies. Mother sits in the front row, wearing her Sunday best. Pearl earrings, subtle makeup, gold cross necklace. The perfect picture of maternal worry. Blake slouches beside her in a suit that costs more than my monthly mortgage. Father shifts in his seat, tugging at his collar, eyes down. The family tableau arranged for maximum sympathy. "Your Honor." Mother's voice quavers with rehearsed emotion. "We've watched our daughter's decline with growing alarm. The isolation, the erratic spending, the sudden hostility toward family." My hands clench under the table. Eleanor touches my arm, steadying. Blake takes the stand next, his testimony a masterpiece of concerned brotherhood. "She works constantly, lives alone, barely calls anymore. Last month, she spent almost $3,000 on a couch." "It's not like her, Your Honor. We're worried she's having some kind of breakdown." Martha stands, her heels clicking against marble. Your Honor, I'd like to present evidence of the petitioner's systematic financial exploitation of my client. She projects my bank records onto the courtroom screen. 10 years of transactions highlighted in angry red. Mother's face tightens. Blake's slouch stiffens. $8,000 withdrawn without authorization during the defendant's college years. 10 separate emergency transfers to Blake Morgan's accounts. Multiple credit cards opened in miss. Morgan's name without her knowledge. This isn't concern for mental health, Your Honor. This is retaliation for my client finally saying no. The judge peers over his glasses at Mother. Mrs. Morgan, can you provide specific examples of unstable behavior beyond purchasing furniture and maintaining a successful career? Mother's fingers worry her necklace. She's different, Your Honor, withdrawn. She used to be such a good daughter. Different how? Mother's voice falters. She's never been so assertive before. The judge's pen taps his desk. Miss Morgan, your workplace performance reviews? I straighten in my chair. Exemplary, Your Honor. I was promoted last quarter. Your financial records show no unusual patterns beyond this furniture purchase? No, Your Honor. I maintain detailed budgets and investment portfolios. Medical history? Clean bill of health, including recent psychological evaluation. Martha slides another document forward. Her therapist's assessment of sound judgment and emotional well-being. The judge removes his glasses, rubbing the bridge of his nose. Mrs. Morgan, Mr. Morgan, buying a couch does not indicate mental instability. Working hard and living independently are not signs of decline. He shuffles papers. I'm ordering a comprehensive financial investigation before proceeding further. This hearing is adjourned. Mother's face crumples like wet paper. Father stares at his hands. Blake is already heading for the door. Later, Eleanor and I sit in a booth at Miller's Diner. The vinyl seats crack when we move. Coffee grows cold between us. Did you see Mom's face? A laugh bubbles up, surprising me. When the judge mentioned financial investigation? Eleanor's eyes crinkle. You know something? You look exactly like your grandmother when you smile. She had that same steel in her spine. The laugh dissolves into tears. They fall silent and hot, staining the paper napkin in my lap. I always thought something was wrong with me. Why I was never enough. Why they always needed more. Eleanor reaches across the table, her hand covering mine. Nothing is wrong with you, Camille. Something is wrong with them. That evening, Eleanor makes calls to old family connections while I sort through decades of documents. The truth of us, written in paper and ink. Mother's careful cursive on birthday cards. We know you'll do the right thing, sweetheart. Blake's hasty scrawl on IOs. Just until my next big break, sis. Later at my home, Martha's email arrives at midnight. She's requesting sealed records from the family trust. Something about the timing nags at me, an echo of Eleanor's earlier questions. I focus on more documents and try to find what I am missing, but unsuccessfully. The next morning, while preparing for work, my phone lights up. Eleanor. Camille. Her voice sounds strange, tight with something I can't name. The court records just arrived. You need to see this, right now. What is it? Paper rustles through the speaker. 2 birth certificates, the original and a legally altered version from 1998. The floor shifts under my feet. What do you mean, altered? Come over. There's something you need to know about who you really are. I called my team to say I cannot make it today due to a family emergency, so I went straight to my aunt's office. An hour later, the birth certificate trembled in my hands. 2 versions lay side by side on Eleanor's mahogany desk, stark government letterhead announcing 2 different truths. 1992 original filing. Eleanor murmured, tapping the first document, and 1998 revision. Her fingers slid to the second paper, where Daniel Morgan's name replaced a different father's signature. My stomach clenched. They changed it without telling me? There's more. Eleanor pulled another stack of papers from her briefcase. Your grandmother's will and trust documents. Half of a $400,000 family trust was earmarked specifically for you. The room tilted. I gripped the edge of her desk, steadying myself. What happened to it? Eleanor's face hardened. Our forensic accountant traced every disbursement. Blake received 90% of the funds over the past 8 years. The rest went to covering his legal fees when those ventures collapsed. A bitter laugh escaped me. So that's where his startup money came from, my inheritance. The phone on Eleanor's desk buzzed. Her secretary's voice crackled through the speaker. Mrs. Morgan on line 1, she says it's urgent. Decline, Eleanor said. And Sarah? No more calls from the Morgan family unless it's through their attorney. The line clicked dead. Eleanor leaned back, studying me. They're getting desperate. Daniel called me directly this morning, pleading to keep this private, as if privacy was ever about protecting you. I pulled up Blake's Facebook profile on my phone. The posts from last week about my concerning behavior and mental health crisis had vanished. My brother, ever the opportunist, was already scrubbing his digital trail. Their attorney sent this an hour ago. Eleanor slid a thick envelope across her desk. Settlement offer with a non-disclosure agreement. Very generous terms, apparently. I didn't touch it. They're scared. They should be. Eleanor's smile held no warmth. Susan's bridge club suddenly has scheduling conflicts. Blake's investor meetings keep getting canceled. Even Daniel's colleagues are starting to whisper. The carefully constructed Morgan family image was cracking. No wonder Mother looked haunted at the country club last weekend, her usual crowd suddenly finding urgent business elsewhere. Martha filed our counter-petition this morning. Eleanor pulled up a document on her computer, turning the screen so I could see. Full financial audit. Investigation into fraudulent documents. And a subpoena for Jessica. My head snapped up. Blake's ex-girlfriend? Why? Because she witnessed him stealing your identity. Credit cards, loan applications. Eleanor's eyes gleamed. And she's finally ready to talk. The familiar ding of an incoming email cut through the tension. Eleanor clicked, then let out a low whistle. Well, Susan just had a panic attack when they served her the financial investigation notice. They took her out of the country club in an ambulance. Is she okay? The question slipped out before I could stop it. She'll live, unlike her reputation. Eleanor's voice softened. You don't have to care about them anymore, Camille. They certainly never cared about protecting you. My phone buzzed. Daniel's number flashed on the screen, followed by a text. Your mother went too far, I'm sorry. Little late for that, I muttered, declining the call. Eleanor's secretary buzzed again. Blake Morgan's attorney just withdrew from the case, and Mr. Morgan Sr. is in the lobby. He's quite insistent about speaking with Miss Winters. I met Eleanor's questioning look and shook my head. I can't. Not yet. She nodded, pressing the intercom. Tell Mr. Morgan our schedule is full. He's welcome to contact Martha directly. Through the frosted glass walls of Eleanor's office, I watched Daniel's silhouette hesitate, then slowly walk away, his shoulders slumped in a way I'd never seen before. They're unraveling, Eleanor observed. Susan and Daniel were screaming at each other outside the courthouse this morning. Blake's gone completely dark, won't answer anyone's calls, and your parents' friends are starting to reach out to me privately. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Daniel. There are things you should know. I started to delete it, then stopped. What aren't they telling me? We're about to find out. Eleanor glanced at her watch. Jessica should be here any minute. Right on cue, a soft knock at the door. Eleanor's secretary ushered in a petite woman with anxious eyes and perfectly manicured nails. Jessica looked exactly as I remembered her from Blake's college graduation, down to the nervous habit of checking over her shoulder. Thank you for coming. Eleanor gestured to the chair beside me. You're safe here. Jessica perched on the edge of the seat, clutching her designer purse like a shield. Her eyes darted between us before fixing on the floor. Blake didn't just use your identity for credit cards, she whispered. With trembling fingers, she withdrew a flash drive from her purse and placed it on Eleanor's desk. The small device seemed to pulse with dark possibilities. He's been doing it to others too. The words hung in the air like smoke, acrid and suffocating. I stared at the flash drive, remembering every time Blake had borrowed my laptop, every casual request for my social security number for insurance paperwork, every joke about how he could forge my signature better than I could. How many others? Eleanor's voice was very quiet. Jessica's answer shattered what remained of my childhood illusions. All of them. Every girlfriend, every business partner, every friend who ever trusted him, and your parents knew. They helped him cover it up every single time. The family secret wasn't that I was the responsible one, the dutiful daughter who needed to be controlled for her own good. The secret was that I was the only one who'd ever said no. A week later, the courtroom loomed like a cathedral of broken promises. Marble columns stretched toward a coffered ceiling where morning light filtered through leaded windows, casting Susan Morgan's pewter hair in an almost saintly glow. She'd chosen a modest slate skirt suit that whispered "concerned mother" in every careful pleat. I smoothed my hands over my leather portfolio, fingertips catching on the brass corners. Eleanor sat beside me, her shoulder a steady pressure against mine. The mahogany bench creaked as she leaned forward to whisper, "Remember, let them talk themselves into corners." My mother's performance began the moment Judge Harrison entered. She dabbed invisible tears with an embroidered handkerchief, while the family's attorney painted me as an unstable workaholic whose concerning behaviors required immediate intervention. "Mrs. Morgan, tell us about your daughter's recent changes in personality," their lawyer prompted. Susan's voice wavered with practiced vulnerability. "She's become so cold, Your Honor, hostile. When Blake needed a small business loan just $18,000, she refused." Her own brother. She pressed the handkerchief to her lips. The couch was the final sign, $2,800 on a single piece of furniture. Our Camille was always so sensible before. The judge's pen scratched against his notepad. His weathered face revealed nothing. Blake testified next, all polished charm in his borrowed suit. "I've watched my sister spiral for years," he said, hands spread in rehearsed concern. The isolation, the obsession with work, the paranoid accusations about money. He shook his head. "We just want to help before she loses everything." Daniels shifted in his seat, tugging at his collar. When called to testify, his voice emerged thin and distant. "We've had growing concerns, for years really. The way she lives alone, works such long hours." Their family doctor droned about stress-related concerns noted in my chart. A parade of carefully selected character witnesses described my worrying transformation from dutiful daughter to cold career woman. I watched it all through a lens of crystalline rage, each lie another brick in the wall they'd built to cage me. Eleanor's hand found mine under the table when Susan's lawyer moved to seal the proceedings to protect Camille's privacy. The judge denied the motion with a sharp rap of his gavel. Then Martha Reynolds rose, my portfolio in her hands. "Your Honor, we've prepared a comprehensive response to these allegations." She placed a thick binder before him. "But first, I'd like to address a rather shocking discovery about the Morgan family dynamic." Susan's spine stiffened. Daniel's face drained of color. Martha's heels clicked against marble as she approached the bench. "Exhibit A. DNA results confirming Daniel Morgan is not Miss Morgan's biological father, despite his name appearing on modified birth records in 1998. She turned to face my parents. "Would anyone care to explain why these documents were altered?" The courtroom air grew thick with unspoken accusations. Susan's handkerchief trembled. "Moving to Exhibit B." Martha's voice cut through the silence. "Financial forensics detailing systematic misappropriation of a trust fund meant for Camille Morgan." She placed another document before the judge. $400,000, Your Honor. Diverted to Blake Morgan's failed business ventures over 8 years. Blake's charm cracked. He shot a panicked look at Susan. "Exhibit C." Martha nodded to the bailiff, who opened the courtroom doors. Jessica Chen walked in, her dark eyes fixed on Blake. Testimony regarding Mr. Morgan's pattern of identity theft, beginning with his sister's social security number. Objection. The family's lawyer surged to his feet. "This witness is perfectly relevant," Judge Harrison cut in, "given the Morgan family's claims about their daughter's financial judgment." He gestured for Jessica to take the stand. She spoke quietly but firmly about Blake using my information for credit cards, loans, even apartment applications. About overhearing Susan coaching Blake on how to phrase his emergency requests. About Daniel's silent complicity in it all. Martha produced emails between my parents discussing how to manage Camille's money, bank records showing they knew about Blake's identity theft. A recording of Susan telling Blake, "Just ask for 18,000. She won't miss it if we frame it right." With each revelation, my mother's composure cracked further. The careful mask of concern splintered into something raw and ugly. When Martha played the recording, Susan's face contorted. "You ungrateful little." She bit off the words, but the venom in her voice echoed through the courtroom. "Mrs. Morgan." Judge Harrison's tone could have frozen flame. "I suggest you consider your next words very carefully." Daniel broke first. "Susan handled all of it," he whispered, shoulders slumping. "The trust fund, Blake's loans, everything. I just signed what she put in front of me." "You spineless," Susan whirled on him, then caught herself. But it was too late. Blake tried to slip toward the doors. The bailiff's hand landed heavy on his shoulder. Judge Harrison spent long minutes reviewing the evidence, his expression darkening with each page. When he looked up, his eyes held steel. "This petition for conservatorship is dismissed with prejudice." The gavel cracked like thunder. "Furthermore, I am referring this matter to the District Attorney's Office for criminal investigation into document falsification, financial fraud, identity theft, and attempted exploitation." Susan collapsed into sobs that shook her entire body. Daniel sat motionless, aging decades in moments. Blake struggled against the bailiff's grip, protest dying on his lips. I felt nothing. No triumph, no satisfaction, not even relief. Just a vast, echoing emptiness where family should have been. Outside the courtroom, a man in a charcoal suit approached. "Miss Morgan? Robert Chen, District Attorney's Office. We'll need your cooperation for the criminal case." I watched my family being led away, Susan still weeping, Daniel shuffling like a ghost, Blake in handcuffs. The perfect family portrait, finally showing its true colors. "Is it wrong that I feel nothing for them now?" I asked Eleanor as their footsteps faded. She squeezed my shoulder. "No, honey, sometimes nothing is the healthiest thing you can feel." The morning light spilled through the courthouse windows, painting long shadows across marble floors. Somewhere in the city, my empty apartment waited, my expensive couch, my quiet, peaceful life that belonged only to me. I straightened my spine and turned away from the shadows. There would be paperwork to file, statements to give, a long road of legal proceedings ahead. But for the first time since the courier had appeared at my desk with that manila envelope, I could breathe. They had tried to declare me unfit. Instead, they had made me free. And I want the following year to keep both my freedom and peace. A year later, the city stretches before me like a glittering promise, each light a star I can finally reach. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows of my new apartment, Chicago unfolds 40 stories below, a testament to possibilities I never dared imagine a year ago. My fingertips trace the elegant frame holding my name change certificate, Camille Winters. The glass reflects my smile, genuine and unguarded. Gone are the stiff furniture pieces Mother insisted would build character. In their place, artwork from local galleries brings warmth to pale walls. Travel photographs my first solo trip to Vancouver, weekend escapes to small Midwest towns tell stories of a woman who chooses her own adventures. The investment portfolio on my tablet shows numbers that once seemed impossible, not just the trust fund restitution, but the fruits of a decade of careful planning. Each digit represents a choice mine alone. A knock at the door announces Eleanor, holding a box of Earl Grey and wearing that knowing smile I've come to treasure. "Ready for this?" The cardboard box by the fireplace holds the last fragments of Camille Morgan. Years of journals, their pages heavy with desperate wishes, photos spanning 3 decades of calculated family portraits. Eleanor settles into the armchair nearby, her presence as steady as her legal strategies were brilliant. "Listen to this gem." I pull out a journal from high school, its cover worn thin. "Maybe if I work harder, they'll love me like they love Blake." God, I actually believed that. The page catches quickly in the fireplace. Orange flames lick at teenage hopes, turning them to ash. Eleanor watches, her eyes bright with understanding. "You know what your grandmother told me once? Some people mistake control for love because they never learn the difference." I feed another journal to the flames. "Got promoted today." Susan called to remind me about Blake's new business idea. Only 10,000 this time. The paper curls and blackens. What a bargain. My therapist's latest notes sit on the coffee table, marking progress in professional shorthand. Next to them, a news clipping. Local entrepreneur faces probation for identity fraud. Blake's mugshot glares up from the page, his trademark confidence finally cracked. Below that, the divorce filing Susan Morgan versus Daniel Morgan. Turns out fraud charges have a way of straining marriages. Speaking of progress, Eleanor retrieves a small velvet box from her bag. I had this restored. The ring catches light from the fireplace grandmother's wedding band, its Art Deco design delicate against my palm. How did you? Found it in a safety deposit box with her original will. She wanted you to have it. Eleanor's voice carries the weight of vindication. Susan could hide the truth, but she couldn't erase everything. Later that evening, my living room fills with the kind of laughter that comes from genuine joy, not social obligation. My closest friends raise glasses, their warmth having nothing to do with the wine. To the family we choose, Eleanor proposes, not the family we're given. The foundation paperwork sits on my desk waiting for Monday signatures. Financial Abuse Recovery Network. Simple letterhead, profound purpose. Yesterday, I spoke at my first support group. Watched understanding dawn in another woman's eyes as she recognized her own story in mine. Handed her Martha's card, watched hope replace resignation. The letter arrives on a Tuesday. Daniel's handwriting on the envelope slanted and uncertain. His words probably mirror the same uncertain explanations, apologies, request to meet. The paper feels expensive, like mother's dining room stationery. I stand at my window, Chicago spread out below like a map of possibilities. The sunset paints everything in shades of promise. Without opening the letter, I walk to the building's mailroom, drop it in the return box, and feel nothing but peace. My grandmother's ring catches the last light as I step onto my balcony. The city awakens for evening, each light below marking someone's story, someone's truth. My new journal waits inside, its first page already bearing witness. Today begins the rest of my life. Stars emerge above the skyline, impossibly bright against the urban glow. The wind carries autumn's first hint of crispness, and I breathe it in deeply. Mother always said Morgan women don't stand alone on balconies at night. But I'm not a Morgan anymore. I'm Camille Winters, and I'm exactly where I belong. Sometimes family isn't your safe place, it's your test. And survival doesn't mean silence. It means finally choosing yourself loudly, legally, and without apology. A shooting star streaks across the sky, and for the first time in my life, I don't waste a wish on anyone's love but my own.